So,
Okay,
Have a good day, get better, bud.
okay, we'll call the meeting back to order, and there were no decisions made in executive session. Thank you, Cody.
See you.
I'm gonna be upstairs later this morning.
I'm not gonna stay long, because I'm still in
Rents,
quarantine, so I
How are you guys?
Good, how are you, bud?
Thanks for coming in early.
As soon as
Yes.
No problem, no problem. I'm gonna make it quick, I've got a 10 o'clock meeting, but
I'm gonna make you stay away,
I'll go
though.
through this pretty quickly.
Two things I want to
Yeah,
talk to you.
well, I'm just saying physical distance, I'm gonna make you stay away.
Okay.
All right, quick COVID update. Currently, we've got 31 positive cases in the county, active right now. That's the highest number we've seen since the beginning of this whole mess. We're staying extremely busy in the clinic, in the hospital as well. Today, as of first thing this morning, I don't believe we had any COVID admissions in the hospital. We do have some outpatient treatments going on, but most of those patients are being treated at home. So, COVID vaccine, our first doses administered are at 1,014. Second doses administered are at 953. Third doses or booster doses are at 457. And so that's 2,424 total vaccines given to date. Currently, Cheyenne County is 43.7% fully vaccinated. MILA, they continue to administer vaccines every Thursday, so that's ongoing, and they're staying pretty busy on Thursdays doing vaccines. So we're right now, supplies, our supply chain, we're beginning to have some issues there, and some of them are getting pretty severe. Our COVID, flu, and strep testing supplies we're getting extremely short on that, and back orders everything is back ordered, and so we're really having to revamp our policy in the lab, and a lot of things we're having to send out now at this point. So a lot of these tests we're sending out to reference labs so they can run them, because we don't have the supplies for our machines to run them. So the ones that we're sending out right now are any patients that have been tested that are asymptomatic or that are ordered by the physician and not a stat order. So those are the ones we're sending out to reference lab, and it's taken a couple of days, day or two, to get those results back. The more severe cases that we're testing, we're doing those in-house, trying to maintain our stock and our supplies. We've ordered free COVID at-home tests from KDHE. I think we've ordered 225, 250 of those. And we're just waiting on those to arrive, and then we will try to distribute those. We're actually working on a plan now on how those will be distributed in the community. So we're in the process of doing that. Those are free tests, and we're seeing if that will help some of the testing that we're doing at the clinic.
are those free to the people, or do they charge for them?
What's that?
COVID test, are they
The
free?
tests,
Yeah.
they're free?
Yeah, they're free. They'll be free when we distribute them, they'll be free. So we're just going to try to come up with a good way of doing that, to get them into the hands of people that really need them, so.
They can get them at the clinic. They can get them right and go to the clinic and get a free test. That's what I was going to say.
And I'm not sure yet.
Well,
That's what we've been
They'll
doing,
get
yes.
administered out of the clinic. They can-
Yes. People that, yes, they can still go to the clinic, schedule, and we're going out to the vehicle to test those
I should call you
people.
ahead of time.
Here we go.
I should phone you and say, I want to get a test.
Right.
And
Yes, sir. Yep. our blood draw tubes, that they draw blood and put into the tubes. The tubes are in short supply at this point. So we are working with our doctors at making sure that they don't add any tests onto, once they order lab tests on a patient, that make sure they include everything they want tested on that patient the first time, rather than coming back and ordering another test later and us having to draw that patient again. So we're working on that to try to minimize the use of our tubes. There's just our general lab tests that we do, our routine testing, like our B12 right now. Just running a B12, we're having to send that out to a reference lab because the supplies for our machine to run that, we're just not able to get it at this point. So more and more of that is beginning to happen. We're getting concerned that some of our cardiac panels for chest pain patients that may come into the ER, we're really monitoring those because we're realizing we're not getting orders in, and so we're monitoring those. So lab is really working hard at keeping up with their policies and protecting the supplies we have. Red Cross, we've got a national blood shortage. It's hit us too. So we're being careful on how we utilize our blood products because right now they're not filling our orders. Red Cross isn't, and what they're doing, they are rotating stock, and so that means that once we use something, it may be 2 weeks before they rotate stock back to our hospital to where we actually get product in. So we're having to really watch that and manage that carefully. So that's our supply chain issues right now. CMS vaccine mandate, of course, that was pushed forward yesterday. In the Supreme Court, they allowed the CMS mandate to move forward, and so we are now re-implementing our vaccine mandate at the hospital and our exemption forms for our staff. So we're going to be, it probably won't be till Monday that we actually reactivate that policy, but we had put it on hold when CMS got put on hold. So now that they're moving forward, we're going to have to revisit all that.
Who were they actually mandating with that? It sounded like it wasn't everybody.
It's the OSHA one got put.
Right, but
that one, we don't have to worry about that one anymore.
on the hospital medical part.
But the CMS one, it's anybody that receives Medicare funding.
Okay.
And so that's going to affect any hospital basically, any clinic, and EMS because they're going to transport Medicare patients. So yeah, anybody that receives any type of Medicare funding, this is who it's going to affect. Bird City Clinic, we are working hard on collecting data and doing our research on that. I've been talking to architects, I've been talking to contractors, so I know that some of our hospital board members went to Century 2 Foundation board meeting, I think on Wednesday. I think that was, I haven't got a report on that yet, but I hear that went very well. So we're working hard on our end, trying to research things and get as much data as quickly as possible on that. And I did find out, I was asked last meeting I was at, who owned the Bird City Clinic over there right now, and it's county owned. So it belongs to the county, and that property belongs to the county. So, and that is my report.
Why is there such a shortage? Why,
I think it is all of this supply chain stuff that
Is a
that
lot
has
of this
been
coming
going
over
on
from
since we.
overseas?
Sorry?
Does a lot of this come from overseas? Is this the reason, or is it? It's kind of strange that all
Yeah,
of a sudden
it-
they're just,
This stuff, it
there's
hit
a
us
backlog to
rather
this crap.
quickly.
Yeah, I don't
It
understand.
wasn't something that just we were gradually seeing, it was just, man, all of a sudden, the brakes are getting put on, and from this
I
time
know
last
we got a
month, we
lot
weren't
of
having these
COVID going
issues.
on, but you wouldn't
Yeah.
think it'd be affecting that supply chain to like the heart stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
and
that don't even make sense.
I know that.
we're starting to see some medications are getting, we're having trouble getting, and so we're working with our different vendors, trying to figure that out. Is that going to be something that all of a sudden we just can't get? So, it hit us quick, and I'm not sure why we're having all this problems all of a sudden.
I take vitamins every day, and I could get them here in town. If they were out, I could get them off of Amazon. They're gone both places, Amazon and downtown.
Yeah. And right now, we're also monitoring our reference lab, which is in North Platte, and making sure that they're able to keep doing the test for us. Right now they are, but we're staying in contact with them, and maybe they had a much larger inventory than what we've been able to stock. I don't know, but it seems to be hitting everybody right now. Yeah. Challenging right now.
Yeah.
Any other questions for me?
I don't have anything.
No.
All righty. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Rance.
Thank you, Rance.
Have a good weekend, bud. That's pretty spooky on the heart.
Steve?
With a blood test, you can tell how long the heart attack's been going on. CPK, SGOT, LGOT, and
It doesn't make sense, does it?
well, they should.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Steve, how are you, bud?
Good, Brad.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger. How are you?
Good. Just get started. I had a few items up for today. I think first I'll start with our quotes that we got in for the C channel for the bridge repair. And I'll pass those out.
Thank you.
We need a total of 220 feet of the what they call C12 channel. It's 20.7 pounds per foot. Load total would be about 4,500 pounds. And we can get that down at bumper to bumper, and it'll come in the lengths that we need.
They can, you say so?
Yes.
And Wellborn won't, minimum order is 20,000 pounds.
Correct. I don't see where we'd wanna buy 4 times or whatever that'd be, 5 times what we
Okay.
And it's delivered from bumper to bumper too, right?
Pardon?
And it's delivered from bumper to
Yep,
bumper?
yes, and then delivered to St. Francis.
To St. Francis or to the site?
To St. Francis. So yeah, we'll have to get it and load it and take it out there. That's maybe a good point. Maybe think about just getting it off right out there too, so. May work with them on that.
I make a motion that we get 220 feet, or am I right, 220 feet, 12?
Right.
From bumper to bumper for $5,186.18.
Second.
And first and second, both bumper to bumper. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Next item I had up was, there's a number of items that we're not using that are in our, both our Bird City yard and in the St. Francis yard. We want to put those up for auction. Probably the 2 bigger items would be the crane truck. We haven't been using that. There's some safety issues with that too, where it's letting go and dropping what's on the end of that cable without warning. So really don't want to run that anymore, so we'd like to put that up for auction. And what Dave Fleming suggested was to break it down into where we're auctioning off maybe the block and tackle. I think there's 1 or 2 of those, the hammers. So there'd be several separate items off of that unit that we would put up for auction. And I think typically we go through Western Auction, and I would like your permission to do that if we could.
Can you sell something if you don't think it's legally safe?
So, if
I
I
don't-
disclaim it,
I think you're okay. I mean, we could check on that. That's a good question. May want to put a disclaimer on there.
Yeah, I just don't know.
And maybe that's a question for
I
Western
think you put
Auction.
on as is.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
a way,
Owner or buyer, purchaser assumes.
Yeah, I
So
don't
there's,
know.
I'll have to talk to Western Auction about that. Okay. Next item,
Is that the only one?
well, there was the winch truck that haven't been yet, I'm not sure the last time, it's, I think, 1960 truck that's not been in use, it's just parked out in the yard.
I don't think there's a 74.
What about them
F-150.
Hanks?
Which ones?
The two that's at Bird City.
Well,
What do they have, oil in them or something, or tar one time?
I'm not sure on that, I would've thought fuel, but,
Cause I know the fire department once they sprung a leak and we had that shit everywhere.
oh,
So I don't know if they emptied them or what's going on with them.
I'd have to check on that.
But there's no need to have them, right?
No. No, as far as I know, they're not in use for anything, so that may be an item or two we could add to the list. I'll check on that. I did have a list of the small miscellaneous items, I don't think that was on there. No, it doesn't look like it. so.
We need a motion, have we move forward with that?
yeah, probably better.
I make a motion that we allow Steve to get a list of items to be sold at auction for the county.
Second.
Okay, it's been first and seconded to have Steve get a list of auctionable stuff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carry.
And then once we get the list, we'll set it up. If that's okay with you.
And get a list?
Yeah. So we know exactly, and then you can talk to Western or.
Okay.
Still hot?
Oh no, my eyes are dry.
And you'd like that list at the next meeting then?
Whatever you
We
wanna
could
do.
We can do that.
What do you think?
I think just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and I'll have it available too.
Yeah,
I
I
can-
mean,
Okay,
if we're not using it, it's smart. Let's
I think
get
it
rid
is,
of
I think it is smart. Do you wanna make a motion for that then?
Well, you already did. I mean,
Okay. We have had problems with one more item here, our Hobart welder that we have on our pickup. That had not been working and we had a local individual come in and look at it, Sam Miller, and he was unable to track down the source of the problem. Fuses were gone on it or blown, and then he replaced the fuses, and as soon as we turned it on, the circuit board went off too. It got hot and smoked. So there's something else obviously going on, and we'd like to take it to KC Motors up in McCook. They do work on that kind of equipment, and we'd just like to see if they could find out what might be wrong with it. And if you'd allow me the discretion, if it's, it's a relatively simple,
Right.
cheap, under $1,000 or something
Go ahead
like
and do it, yeah.
that we'd look at getting it fixed if it,
it. So the other welder hadn't come in?
it is in, and it's on the bus, but we've had two welders. We've had a generator welder on the bus, the bridge bus.
Oh,
They're
okay.
full of tools and power tools on that, and you can do all kinds of work with that, obviously. And then we also had a larger welder on that pickup, and
So this is a generator, not a welder. Yeah, I'm sorry.
the new one,
The one you're gonna have fixed?
it's a welder generator.
Welder
I might have
generator.
misspoke, yeah, I
Welder.
should say welder, sorry.
Okay.
And one of the advantages to that particular welder, my understanding is it was 100% on continuous use. You could weld without having to pause, and that's what the smaller welder, like on the newer one on the bus, the smaller one that fits in the bus, that's one that's got a duty cycle, depending on how hard you're pulling on it, around 30–40% duty cycle, which means you can weld for 3 or 4 minutes. And then you need to stop, make sure you stop to allow it to cool down to get to the 10-minute mark. And then you can weld again so you don't burn them up. But I'd like to we were just gonna take it out of the truck that it's in and then take it up there and drop it off and have them look at it. See if they can pinpoint what might be wrong with it.
Yeah, it'll probably be hard for them to give you much of a quote exactly what it's gonna cost to fix.
It might, and they may not even be able to find a circuit board for it. It may be done too, so. But in the meantime, find out what's wrong with it, try to pinpoint the problem. And last item was just our expenses up to date there. As for expenditures. Manatron Inc., that's one that's a little different. That's the software that we use here in the office. And then there was several of the gravel pits that we've settled up with. Mueller Pit, it's for Janice Phipps and Vicki Thomas. And then Helton's Pit, it's Dan Stevens. And then the Wellborn sales, that was our grater blade resupply. And that came in actually early. That wasn't supposed to get here until about now, but that showed up, I think, right before the end of the year.
And you got the new grader in?
Yes, thank you for, yes, I just got a call from Mark Polifka from Foley, and it arrived earlier this week, and they're doing the prep on it.
Cool.
Don't have an arrival date yet, but it'll probably be, if not next week, the week following, I would think.
Good.
And I did have one more question, I guess. This just came up this morning. One of the guys noticed on the federal surplus site a used pickup. We have discussed amongst ourselves at work about maybe upgrading or replacing some of our trucks that we have. One was our service pickup. It's a 94 Ford 3/4 ton, and that's what we use to go out and repair flat tires on graders and other repairs. We did come across this is a Ford, and I'm trying to get the year, 2005. It's got 67,000 miles, and it's listed at 11,500 on the purchase price, and I have not contacted the individual on there about any of this yet, and it just
Do you
came to
need
my
a different-
attention this morning. So.
You need a different bed, or does this bed work good?
That I'm not sure. I would think we could move the toolbox over onto that. I'd check on that to be sure. But that would be one
Yeah, I don't know.
possibility, is just to turn that into our service truck.
I don't know if you took the whole bed off or.
Yeah, and that's a good question. I don't know if you have to replace that flatbed with a different bed, or if you can mount what we have.
Do you have that amount in your budget to do that?
Well,
Purchase that?
our capital equipment budget, what we've had is only at $10,000. So that'd be a little over that.
So much now?
11.5.
5.
Mileage is good though.
And it might be something we're looking at, and then,
Maybe some of that stuff from the auction you can use for that.
Some of the income, yeah.
possibly, yeah, I didn't think of that. But,
So when you say federal surplus, that's
and I'm not,
federal government?
yeah, and
surplus
I
equipment?
checked on if we had done anything like this in the past, and I think it's been a while. I don't have any current
Usually it's through the
recent.
state, but I mean,
Yeah, we used to do it. Cody and them would go down and get them or whatever, so I really don't have a problem with that at all. What about you, Roger?
And, I mean, without knowing what's the history on that pickup, but given the current climate with used trucks and prices,
Yeah.
seems like a good price, if it's in mechanically good condition, and I could sure do some looking into it a little more, try and find out more about it, maybe pull up a Carfax on it and try and find out some more information on it.
More about it.
Okay.
Problem with that though, sometimes we gotta act quick on it.
Exactly. I mean,
If it's a good one, somebody else is gonna want it too,
true.
so. I'm just wondering if it'd be better to go ahead and have you look at it and pick it up.
If it's in good
Yeah.
condition and there's no red flags.
I think that's a good idea. What do you think, Roger?
I have no clue.
You know, 'cause I hate, if it's, like I say, if it's a good truck and they need them, they're out there, somebody else will have to pick it up before you can check into all of this stuff.
Right, I mean, it could be gone today.
The V10s are pretty good motors too. I had one. Just changing the spark plugs, you break every one of them. They make a
Oh.
special tool for it, so.
Okay, I don't have anything else for you today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good weekend.
You're welcome.
We're still gonna get that motor from Clipper.
Have a good weekend,
You
guys.
too. I was thinking about that the other day. I need to.
Call me sometime, I'll show you where it's at.
It's on the ground in his Quonset, isn't it?
In his shop, yeah,
We have by the old Suburban.
yeah. Okay, we got anything else?
Mike, we're done.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn then.
Second.
Motion first and second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.